Welcome back to your favorite podcast, Two Homeschool Moms. I'm Nikki.
And I'm Ashley. If you're looking for real, raw, and relatable moms who talk all things homeschool and mom life,
you're in the right place.
Today we're going to talk about one of the number one things I hear is people say that we are, what is the word? I don't want to say you're blessed. You're privileged to homeschool because you can afford to homeschool. And I think we need to beat this myth down. Now, I don't homeschool for free or for cheap. You normally don't either. So we're not sitting up here saying we don't spend any money. Obviously we do. There are ways that I think you could homeschool for pretty much free. And so we're going to talk about that later. But first, how was your birthday weekend?
Let's see. What did we do? My cousin took us out on Thursday. We went to eat at my favorite restaurant called Big Bull. It's like a stir-fry place.
Mm-hmm.
But it's better than that one we went to though in Vegas. This one's a little bit more fancy, I guess you could say. But that was good. And then we went to the park and they had a ninja park. And so it was kind of chilly, so we didn't stay too long. And then Friday I didn't do anything. I stayed home and just did nothing, which was kind of nice. Mm-hmm. And Saturday was my birthday, and we went to Home Depot to look at, now we're looking at a different brand. That's technically the same brand of floors. It's just their sister brand, which we didn't know because the store that we were trying to make it to several different Home Depots because they all have different colors on their floor.
That's crazy.
Yes. Okay. And it's really hard to see it on the phone compared to what it looks like in person. So all stores have different things that they have laid out. So we didn't come across this brand until we landed at the store on Saturday. And I'm like, hey, what's that brand? And the lady's like, it's Life Proof. It's just their sister brand.
Oh my God.
And it was because we saw two colors that we liked there. So it was, we didn't stay long. So I didn't spend my whole day at Home Depot. It was literally an in and out thing. But the lady was super informative and told us things that a lot of the other locations hadn't told us. So that was nice. Things that'll void your warranty and stuff.
Okay.
So I even told her, I'm like, what would you do on your birthday? Do you go to Home Depot? Do you whatever. Just the season we're in. And then we went on a nice nature walk. It was not nice out, warm wise. It was kind of chilly, but the sun was out, which helped a lot. So we walked around, we saw a lot of nature. We saw 7 deer and I don't know, birds and crap that.
Squirrels, chipmunks. Yeah. I saw something like that.
Yeah, we saw squirrels. Yeah. It's they have their own little nature center there. So I think they're all fed very well. So that's why you see a lot that comes.
They come.
And they're also right by the river. So they get tons of nature. And then we kind of just hung out at home and went to dinner with my husband, and he got the location wrong. So we ended up waiting a little longer for him to arrive because he went to a different Chinese restaurant.
Oh no.
Even to Josh, who admitted that he did not read my text message.
Not on your birthday, the one time he should listen.
Yeah, and we were all hangry at that point, but whatever. It was fine. And then we really didn't know what else to do because what do you do? What do you do with your life when you're you don't drink, you don't we're past the party stage of our life. So we were well, let's go bowling. Well, it's really hard to go bowling on a Saturday night here because there's leagues and
busy.
It's just really hard to get into at that time of night. So we're well, we can go to a movie, but we were kind of already past the movie times.
Right.
As well without going at 9:00. And that just wasn't. So we got some ice cream and took it home and watched a movie at home, which was fine.
Yeah. Sounds nice. I mean, it was a nice day, right? Sounds good.
Yeah. And then Sunday I got to see my friend from Missouri. So she flew in on a layover and we went to eat and just hung out in her hotel room for the few hours before she kicked me out because she had to go to sleep because she had to be up at like 3 o'clock for her flight.
Crazy. So, what a crazy layover situation.
Yeah, well, she had like 3 flights because she was going to like St. Kitts, which is like by...
Is it the
like
U.S.
that,
Virgin Islands?
Yeah, somewhere over there, like like by... I don't even know how to pronounce some of these things, but yeah. By the Bahamas, like kind of in that general direction, or Puerto Rico. So yeah, I'm like jealous because I'm like, you should have just totally had me as your assistant.
I was just going to say, that would have been a cool birthday. You just jumped on the plane with her from Chicago and...
I wish.
That would have been cool.
I guess I need a passport.
Oh, you don't have a passport? I think we've already talked about this. Go get a passport.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
It was good. What did I do? Oh, I worked all day Saturday for YouTube because I had a lot of stuff that had deadlines to get done. So that wasn't super fun because I normally try to like save my weekends away from like the computer. I'll even tell you, like, I'm not talking about anything YouTube. We can talk about anything other. So that was Saturday. And then yesterday I was literally in the kitchen all day. Like meal prepping. So like I made a bunch of like breakfast burritos for Nick and the kids. So I made like 50 breakfast burritos. So just put them in the freezer. So then they can just grab them and go. I made like bean and cheese burritos. I made like lunch for this week. So it was good.
And they're still good when you like take them out of the freezer?
Yeah, we did a trial today and Nick was like, this is like you just made it. And I was like, oh, I can't eat them because I have eggs in them, but they looked good. They smelled good. And like the tortilla was super soft still and everything. And I was like, wow. So
you just like put it in the microwave or something for like a minute?
Mm-hmm. For 4 minutes because they were completely frozen. But yeah. And so like Mila could grab one this morning. And then it's better than like a bowl of cereal, right? It's like a little bit heartier and stuff. So yeah, I spent all day doing that. And I felt good though. I got like a lot of stuff done that was just kind of like on my list to do. And so it felt good. And I freaked out about my curriculum to you for 10 minutes.
I was just going to say, and then we went down the curriculum hellhole of like, what are we doing with our life?
I almost started it on Saturday night because that's when I was like really like having my like, oh my God, what did I do? And I didn't want to bug you though with that on your birthday. It's like, I don't know why I'm so like wishy-washy with it. I'm like still, even though I was like, okay, I think I'm good. I still don't know if I'm good.
But like, I'm in the same boat. Yeah. Like, I'm just not coming across what I need to see.
Yeah.
And I don't even know like what I need to see. But then I was like really excited because I found that, well, we're going to talk about the free portion of it, but I found IXL. And I was like so excited. And then I realized there's like how horribly, like, in my opinion, that is just not user friendly, the website. And so I know you can sit here all day and say I am technology challenged, but I am not technology challenged. It just it appears that way. But I swear to you, this website, like, I guess I thought that IXL was like a lot of video based, and it's not. Like, it's literally learn this skill that you kind of already learned, and it's like mastering the facts. And so I didn't want it for that purpose. I wanted it for like extra help in like teaching the skill.
Right.
And so like if like, for instance, social studies. Again, this is what I purchased this. This is the bought side of it.
Okay, so IXL you pay for. I've never used it, so I have no idea about it. There
is a free side, but it's only on the app, I think.
Okay.
But there is a paid side as well that includes social studies and science. And so I'm like, oh, social studies, like that'll be easy. And then I can just kind of slide that in if I want to do that one day. And she can do that totally independent because it would be on the website. Mm-hmm. And there's no videos that go with it. So when I click on like a skill set, like Rosa Parks, it's like, when was Rosa Parks born? And I'm like, well, how the hell is she going to know?
Like, I don't know. Like, you gonna tell me?
What? Like, where's the like lesson that teaches or explains or gives her the
Have you tried Me
information.
Academy? Me Academy sounds, because there's like a video and then it like kind of quizzes you on what you just learned in the video.
No, but I just canceled my subscription, so.
Oh, well, Me Academy sounds like it's like an online. We used it when we first started homeschooling. And it's just like that. Watch a video, answer these questions. Sometimes there's a worksheet.
Yeah, but now that, I mean, this is like spoiler alert for another video we're doing, but now that I know her learning style, like,
that may not be the right one.
I don't even know anymore. I'm just like losing my mind.
That's yeah. Yeah. I was there, and mine wasn't like, I love the curriculum I chose, but it's more of like, is it going to actually function in our homeschool? And so we homeschooled this last weekend, and we weren't doing it, but we were kind of doing what it would be like. And I was like, how am I going to sit here with two kids, both needing my attention? Kind of like Emma's more independent, but then we're annoying her when Mila and I are going over something. And then like Emma's doing a science experiment and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, I want to do a science experiment. Or, like I won't, like, you can't just be like making something over there. So I don't know. I think I'm coming to the end of our homeschool year and I just need to like be done with homeschool for like a month. Like, don't think about it. Don't talk about it. Just shut it off. Well,
I could see how that would cause like issues, right? Like if she's doing an experiment and you're reading for like how that would like clash together or not, or like, then Mila's going to be sitting there going, well, I want to do that.
So that's where I'm like struggling. So like their language arts is fine. They can both sit there, read their individual books, do their individual activities because those kind of match up. But then it's when we get into the science and social studies, it's just completely different. So Emma's learning about space and Mila's learning about machines. I'm just making this up, and so that is where I'm struggling.
And then you have Nico, who's going to be running in and going, I want to do that. And then Mila's like, well, I want to do that. And then it's going to be like, well, there goes that.
Nico's good because his school isn't with his sisters. We normally do his school later in the day. And he loves his science. He's all about his sunlight science. And he doesn't let his sissies in there. And so he's good. But then I asked Emma, I was like, girl, I don't think this is going to work. And she's like, I don't want to do it together. And so she's hardcore, like, let me do it on my own. And I'm just like,
well, and it may come down to like, maybe she needs to do those types of things in private so that it's not a distraction for any of you.
Which will be in our next episode talking about learning styles and environments, because that's 100% her. She's like, leave me alone. I got this. Like, don't talk to me. I don't want to collaborate. I want to be alone. So anyways, let's jump on today's topic.
Yay.
Which you're going to start because was it last episode that you were like, oh, by the way, I'm going to use this curriculum. And I was like, what? So you can start in explaining how we got on this topic of free homeschool stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I could totally bust the episode and say I don't know if I'm actually going to use it, but like... like, look how much has changed in 2 weeks. Just kidding. No, I think we're going to use it because I'm financially strapped on buying any more stuff. Yeah. I'm done. What I have is going to be good enough, and I have to trust that decision and process thus far. But then I saw like, no, I'm just not going there. That's what happens on these rabbit holes or things that like pop up in your feed. Like, yeah. But anyway.
Especially right now. It's all out there.
So we came across Easy Peasy All-in-One Homeschool, I think it's called. Mm-hmm. If you just searched Easy Peasy Homeschool, it'll pop up. Yep. But they are 100% free. You can utilize their website for free, or you could minimally purchase hardcover books through Amazon, I believe. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the books are great. They're not, the parent side is a little not what I'm used to. Mm-hmm. It's very basic. Let's just put it that way. It's not heavily scripted. It's not It's very basic in how it's taught. And then I also read somewhere that it could be used as a standalone, but it's also necessary to utilize the website in some length to go along with the printed stuff so that you're able to get access to the games and the specific links that they have on their website. So I'm going to start out, we're mainly going to be using this for math.
Okay.
And like, I'm still not 1000% on this, but I feel like I just have to be at this point and just trust that it's going to be enough. But we're going to use the workbook so that we're not just sitting on a computer all the time. And then utilize some of the games, or even they have like YouTube videos. Like, there's so much that they pull for resources in this free curriculum, which was kind of awesome to me, because that meant that they poured their research and into creating a rich like content, even though it's free. I know the company, they ask for donations. It's not required, but they ask for a donation. So that, because this is just a family who's out there and that's their business, they created this free, opportunity for homeschool families.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. I'm looking them up right now, by the way, just because when I first started before I started homeschooling, when I was thinking about it, I Googled what to use for homeschooling, and they were actually the first company to pop up. And I don't think I was typing like free.
Yeah.
I think that easy is what got me, but I couldn't understand how to use their curriculum.
Yeah, I mean, it is not that user friendly.
Okay, because I was like, I just couldn't figure it out.
It has a lot of areas, and I think they could have a way to simplify that. But, that's what I do, is I find things that are the flaws and then ways that they could fix that. That's how my brain functions in life, period. But once you sit down and you really thoroughly look at the website, it's okay. I mean, you can figure it out. Your child is on one page and it literally just says lesson 1. It has the links. It has anything they have to utilize. The only con I would say is that nothing is recorded. So if they're on the computer and they're typing in answers, once the screen tells you it's wrong and they tell you how to do it or how to redo the equation or whatever, it's gone. You cannot see, there's no printout, there's no any of that. So I think in the Facebook groups, there are ways that people have done it or figured out how to do it. You're in a state where you need a portfolio or something like that. There are ways to do it, but it's mostly coming from parents who have figured out a way to do it. I don't necessarily think that's a skill that the company has offered. I could be wrong, though. Like I said, there's so much to read on the website, and it's not all necessarily in one place. So I don't think that it's the easiest way to do that. But it's free, this is, if you're desperate and you don't want to have to purchase a ton of curriculum, they have all the subjects through high school. So
everything you would need to homeschool a kid. Right.
Art, Bible, and I want to say they have Bible, but it's not, I haven't seen it incorporated in any other lessons. So if you didn't want to utilize that, if you wanted to be secular, I'm pretty sure the rest of their stuff is, but this is my opinion. I have not used it, so don't quote me. But that's kind of the vibe I was getting. They have computer, they have, I think at some point they offer languages for older grades, and there's a whole separate website for high school, so you could utilize all the high school classes. Tons and tons and tons of resources on their website. So if you're just curious, check it out. Maybe you want to do an elective, like computer. They're going to teach you how to do chess.
Right.
And a lot of them are one player type thing. So it's not something I have to be there and be a player for the game. So they utilize a ton of different resources in that way. So that's just one. But I know we were just talking about, before we started filming, that Khan Academy is another great free resource. And I feel like that has grown so much in the last 4 years than what it started out to be.
Yeah, I still can't believe Kahan is free because I used Kahan in college. So when I was taking my economics class and struggling really bad in it, I used Kahan to study and to be able to pass the college course. And so I think it's a great tool. I'm trying to remember, right? So it's like there's like a subject, you watch a video, right? Or like somebody drawing on a board explaining stuff, and then you answer questions, and then you get like points if you master it. Is that how it's set up? Or have you not used
Yeah,
it?
I think so. I don't think that there's a video for everything anymore. But I know they do have videos, and I do think it is point based to mastering concepts. But
yeah, Kahan's a good one. What I was gonna say in regards to Easy Peasy, not necessarily Kahan, because Kahan probably gets money through advertising because they have like an app and it's computer based. But a company like Easy Peasy, like you said, those are homeschool parents that started that. I mean, that would take a lot of energy and time to offer a free curriculum. And so things like having like grading services, that's what you're not going to get when something's free, because that is expensive. Any technology that you use on someone's website, even having a store like where you can check out and buy stuff, costs money. So if they're not earning any money, it's going to be really hard for them to offer stuff. And so that is what I will say is when people are spending a ton of money on curriculum, you're paying for convenience. You're paying for those super nice teacher guides, the step-by-step scripting, the super good, like I pay for Nicole the math lady. They do all the grading. I have all this reporting. I don't have to pay for that, but then I wouldn't have those features. So I think that's important too when you're talking about what you get when you pay for stuff. And that's not saying Easy Peasy isn't good. It's just they probably don't have the funds to make it amazing, you know?
Yeah. Or they don't want to. I mean,
I wouldn't put that much effort into something that's not like giving me, money. That's everyone. That's
well, yeah,
our
I think
goal.
everyone is volunteer.
Yeah, which is amazing, but don't expect, them
high
to
class.
right.
Yeah.
It's not worth it for them. So
Right.
that's really cool. Okay, let's go back to just talking about free resources in general, because I think people also get stuck on you have to have a curriculum. And this goes into unschooling, this goes into like all this stuff we talk about, right?
Yeah.
So you could go to your library, which we'll talk about that too. That's just a free resource. So you can get any books you want from your library. You could go get one of those DK, like the DK science books or what, those huge books. That could be your science curriculum. So it's free from the library and you just go through it page by page. You can Google printouts, words, like whatever you want. And most of the time there's something free online. Like there's literally always something someone has made that's free for whatever reason to go along with it.
Well, I think it also goes into play with how your kid learns or what they're interested in, because you can easily create a unit study based on a topic of interest. If they are really into spiders, you can find that DK book that talks about spiders. You can find that. I think they have a DK find out or look at or something like that. That's more like smaller topic generated. And then you can pull your vocabulary from there. You could pull your spelling from there. You can likely even somehow pull your math from there. You never know like what you can come up with. Or you could buy spider themed erasers as your manipulatives. Like it could be from the dollar store. It's not what we make it out to be. We don't have to buy this grand unit study all the time. It doesn't have to be that way. It's just about convenience, right? Putting that time and effort into making that unit study is going to be more than if you bought that unit study that everything's already laid out for you.
Right. Yep. No, I think that's important. And it depends on like your kid. And I see it all the time. Like people will buy like the full big box curriculum, like where you get everything and you get thousands of manipulatives and charts and graphs. Well, if your kid doesn't want to use manipulatives, all that stuff's a waste. So I think too, to just save money, like be careful buying like those big boxes of stuff that are hundreds to thousands of dollars, because think about individually, like what are you actually going to use? You can find, you can normally piece them together and buy stuff separate and, go to the dollar store. Don't pay $10 for the same little pack of something you could buy at the dollar store. You just have to, take time. It's time too. It's, convenience of having someone else do it for you, but you're paying for that convenience.
Well, and you and I have both, we utilize other sources like Thrift Books, who is like a discounted used book store. I just had my own order from them that I'm going to have a haul on my coming up. I don't know when it'll be in relation to this video, but it's on my YouTube sometime this month. And you can buy them in the condition that you want them in. You can buy them anywhere from new to rough shape, depending on what you need from the curriculum. I just bought one, and the only thing, it was like, it was in the like used, I think, good category, but the only thing bad about it was like the top of the plastic cover was a little bit ripped. It's like, you could just take that off if you really needed to. I mean, but there's that book outlet as well, where you can find cheaper books. And if you wanted to purchase and didn't want to buy them new from Amazon or whatever, or Target or wherever you're looking for your stuff. But
even Amazon, if you like have something in your cart, you can see if they're selling it used. So books are really good to do that with. But I just did that. We're using a literature-based curriculum, and I was on the curriculum's website looking at all the books that are required, and I just searched them in Thrift Books, and I saved hundreds of dollars doing that. Now, I could have went a step further and got the books from my library, but that was like, I wanted the convenience of just having the physical book, but then I took time to find all those books. I could have just ordered them from the curriculum company and saved, an hour or two, but it's just like what choices you make.
Yeah, and like you read off of audiobooks. A lot of those are in audio too through your library. If you're going to be utilizing, say, one book for the unit you're going to be doing, you can easily do an audiobook from your library, or a lot of times, sometimes it could be free depending on what app you use for that. But it can save you money. It's definitely there, but do your research, because you can also be on Thrift Books and think you're getting a deal, because you have to remember these are also individual people that sell their books. So they could be pricing it whatever they want, but maybe Amazon's having a sale and you can get that book brand new for the exact same price.
Right.
Why would you then get it from Thrift Books used? Like, you have to do your research and play around with that.
Yep. And that takes time. But I think too, so the library, or our library here, it's kind of weird. So we have like our county library, but then we also have city libraries. And so the county library, if you get your library card through the county, they have all this free stuff. So what I was going to say is IXL is actually free through our library. Like, they give you, instead of you having to pay for IXL, if you log in like through your library card, you can actually access it free. So that means anyone that lives in where I live technically can use it for free. So that's right there. I mean, that could be a full-blown curriculum for free. Unfortunately, I live in like a smaller city outside of the county, which is so stupid. It's literally 5 minutes outside of the county. So I don't qualify because my library card is different, I guess. It's so silly. But on there, there's hundreds of like free things from the library. Like, I don't ever go down that road, but they have like art classes. They have like all of these things that are a benefit. And so like, that's a good resource too that you could use for like extra type of things too.
Yeah, I mean, our libraries are a little different here too, where we can go to different libraries in our area and use the same card. And like, majority of them, as long as they're like interconnecting in some way on their back end, they don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
So our, we could, for whatever reason, if we don't have a book at ours and it's in the next town over, we can go get it there.
Oh, that's cool.
But I get that's a state thing. But I know Libby is like that too, where if you utilize that app, you can get it. You can enter, I think, up to like 10 or 15 library cards or something like that in the Libby app. So that's good to know too. What else are we going to? Oh, well, you have YouTube and national parks as a free resource, which we went to one of those, and the amount of stuff there blew, like, it blows my mind.
Okay, did we pay to get it? I can't remember. Was there like an entrance fee when we went to the national park?
We paid for parking.
Because we parked, but if we would have shuttled in, it would have been free, right?
I think so.
So I do know, though, that there are certain times of year where entrance to any state park or national park is free. And so even that, like if you're really strapped for cash or, you can't think you can afford to go to this like exhibit or museum, wait for those free days. Go take your kids on those free days. Again, you just have to research and like find them.
Mm-hmm.
And then, YouTube. I mean, I learned 80% of my knowledge as an adult from YouTube. Like everything's on YouTube, and there's legit channels, and it's free that like teach whatever letter sounds or how to solve math equations. I mean, you can find
How to
anything.
freaking work on your house. I mean, everything you can think of is on YouTube.
Yeah, so that can be a resource too. You just have to find it. You have to obviously monitor it and make sure that it's safe for your kids. It's not, something weird. But I think it's easy to get caught up in the curriculum craze of I have to have this math curriculum book to teach my kids math. Really, there's thousands of resources out there that could teach your kid math. It's just what you choose to do for whatever reason.
Well, and your comfort level on teaching it. If you're you have struggled with math in your life and you're not confident in teaching your kid, then you may want to invest in the resources that are going to outsource that for you.
Mm-hmm.
Or take that off your plate. And we're only mentioning a few here, but if you really do the research, there are a lot of options.
Mm-hmm. Oh, one you always used to say, teachers pay teachers, which I freaking love that website. There's just a little button, press free, and everything that will show you is free, and it's good stuff. And so Google homeschool for free. I guarantee you're going to have more than you could even deal with. There's tons of free units. There's tons of free stuff.
What was that? What was that one from for Into the Rabbit Hole or something?
The rabbit trails?
No, from the girl on Instagram that we follow. She's the one with Jack Links.
Oh, crap.
We were just talking.
Did I not? Oh, I did put it there, and I'm not even looking at it. Oh, okay. So core knowledge. So that was another one. So can you hear my background right now? Can you hear the jet flying over me? Okay, cool. All right. So anyways, core knowledge is a full online curriculum. You can buy just, I think, like easy peasy. Like you could buy the physical printouts, but if not, they have every single grade level, every single subject. But theirs are like little unit studies. So like you would be doing in second grade a unit about Greek mythology, but it would be covering like other concepts in it too, but it's all free. And what is her name from Jack and Link Toys? I'm going to die. I don't know.
Nancy, maybe?
Nancy. Is it Nancy?
I don't know.
Okay, that sounds right. And if she's watching, you could totally yell at us. But we know your company name. We know Jack and Link Toys. Anyway, she has a YouTube channel now, and she does the coolest crap with it. She will have like the unit for free, and then like, manipulatives, other books. And she does all that. She just does it all, and it looks so amazing. They have some cool units on there that I'm even like, I just want to do this one unit because it looks really cool.
Same.
Well, I was listening to a podcast earlier today. It's the podcast from the curriculum company Layers of Learning. Have you ever heard of their curriculum?
Nope.
So it's like unit style, like family style units. I've tried looking in it. I couldn't really get into it. Anyways, they had a podcast. I thought one of their episodes was interesting because it was about a topic we talked about. So anyways, I was playing around on their website, and they offer like a couple of their units for free. So even that, like even just going and searching, most curriculum companies that even offer paid stuff will have something for free that you can trial or use. So that's a good way too to save money too.
Well, I mean, and we've already talked about them, but The Good and the Beautiful has that. I mean, they have free.
Yeah, they're free, duh.
They're like 100% free, I think, for language arts to 8th grade, and then math, I think, is till 6th. Don't quote me, but go on their website. They have free PDFs for pretty much every level. And then they also have like a free unit from their science. I think it was like the marine biology unit. I think they have always had as free PDF.
Yeah.
We've already talked about why we think their handwriting should have a free PDF too, but There's no such thing. But I feel like handwriting is really easy to like find free stuff on.
Like you don't need a curriculum for that. You could just, I will say though that I do get caught up like, well, you can't homeschool for free because you do have to print stuff. And so, yes, like, could you homeschool for $0? I mean, technically, no, nothing's free. Like you would either have to have like a electronic device to show it on or print something. I mean, yes,
but like maybe your husband works at an office and can sneak off to the copy machine and like make some copies.
I wouldn't condone that, but sure. Yeah. I mean, if you're resourceful enough, I'm sure you could find a way to save money. But what I mean is nothing is free. I mean, if we live in America, nothing is free or provided for you. And so it's more like budget. Like, does it make sense to pay to print the good and the beautiful? No, it's actually more expensive to pay for someone to print the homeschool curriculum from them. Their prices are pretty reasonable. But I mean, that's what you have to kind of justify, like what makes sense to have or not have.
But if you open up the PDF on your computer or your tablet and you look at it, you can have a scratch paper ready.
Yeah.
And they can still write out whatever. You can find ways to adapt that, I feel like.
Yeah. If you have an iPad, right? Because that's another cost. So like if you don't have an iPad, then what would you do?
Most people have a phone. I mean, you can still utilize it on your phone.
Right. There's definitely, I think, ways to be creative. So the last thing I want to talk about is there are some lucky few that live in some states that have some really awesome stuff. So in Arizona, I actually met this guy on one of my work plane trips, and we were talking about homeschooling. And so he lives in Arizona, and they have a program where I don't know if it's part of like your taxes. I don't know how it all works, but you get like, I'm going to make it up, $1,500 per kid that you homeschool, right? And then you get to use that money on educational material, and like you have to spend it. And so these parents almost sometimes are like, what should I buy? Like I need to spend this money or I lose it. And so that is really cool that they get like that benefit. And when I was asking him, there wasn't really rules attached to it. I think except like it couldn't be religious. I think like you can't use like a solely religious curriculum or something. There's like some caveats to where it has to be like approved of what you buy. Like there's a list of approved stuff, I guess. But yeah, his wife, I'm sure, was the one who was buying curriculum, not him. But you know, he tried to explain it. Or like charter schools. There's a lot of states that offer charter schools where it's kind of that same concept. Like I don't know if you own it, but they have like all this curriculum and you get to like rent it out for your school year. And then you give them back like the teacher manuals and then obviously the consumables you use, but like they pay for it too. So like if you're really dead set on like homeschooling, and I mean, this sounds crazy to like move a state, but like really, if you're like that strapped for money or you have tons of kids or whatever the case may be, you may want to look at these states that offer some assistance through charter schools or, you know, whatever other types of things there are out there.
Or states that have relaxed laws to where you're not required to have to teach certain subjects or thoroughly or whatever. Even, you know, I know a lot of people who like, well, I don't want to teach this, but I have no choice.
Right. Or like record keeping portfolios, because that could cost money, right? Because like you were saying, there has to be a system to record stuff in, and then you have to track everything. So that's a good point too. Yeah. Don't move somewhere where it's super crazy.
And like you also listed on your sheet, buying used curriculum. That's a big one. Marketplace on Facebook, eBay. Constantly see used curriculum, and it could be like new. Someone bought it and they realized they didn't want it, or they're not going to use it, or like us, we overbuy.
I was like, like me, I legit was like this close to listing half my curriculum for sale this weekend because I'm like, just get it out of here. It's stressing me out. But that's how I buy most of my curriculum is used, because like our Saxon math books, they are so stupidly expensive for what they are. Like they're just black and white printed papers. There's nothing fancy about them. And so 100% I buy those used because I refuse to pay retail for those books. They're just not worth it.
There's just like even some that have like some pencil marks, like take an hour and go flip through some pages with an eraser and erase that stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I bought one of Nico's stuff. that had like the first couple lessons in pencil. And so I erased it, but I don't think I could handle more than that. Because like, even though you erase it, there's still marks. And so he could see like what the answer was. And I was like, oh, well, not good.
I don't mean buy a whole curriculum. I mean, if you're that desperate, baby.
Yeah.
And you might be able to use whiteout or something like that. But
yeah. And be resourceful, right? Like if you buy something for like your oldest kid, don't write in it. Make copies of it, or like use it on a scratch piece of paper, and then you can use that year after year. I feel like I'm kind of just now getting in that mindset. Like something I buy for Emma, I'm like, oh, like the Saxon math. I'm like, well, this is actually cool. Now Mila is using Emma's books, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. So being like 10 steps ahead, you know?
How? She's not writing in the book?
Well, I had to buy the consumable workbook, but Saxon, there's 3 workbooks, and she only wrote in one of them. So I only had to buy one of them for Mila.
Well, that's nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So just thinking like that ahead too, like, can I use this again for another kid? Would save tons of money.
Yeah, agreed. So
Anything
check out all
else?
those resources if you're interested in any kind of free curriculum, or like we said, you know, just do the research. It's there. You just have to put the time and effort into looking for it. Don't let all these shiny things, if you don't have the money, you don't have to do it. You don't have to click and spend and put yourself in debt.
Right.
I should take my own advice.
Yeah. Don't. It's not worth it. Like, we're trying to teach our kids to like be, you know, smart, and like, yeah, going in debt to teach them is probably not a good thing.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Talk to you guys later.
Let us know if there's another one that we haven't mentioned. Leave it in the comments.
Oh, yeah. And I'll try to link as much as possible that we talked about in this video. But
yeah.
a lot.
All right. Peace out.
Bye.
We want to hear from you. Your feedback is invaluable to us, so let us know your thoughts on today's episode. Share your topic suggestions or ask us any burning questions you may have. Your input shapes the direction of our podcast, and we're here to create content that resonates with you.
If you enjoy listening to homeschool stories, curriculum reviews, advice, struggles, and overall mom life, this podcast is for you. But so is our YouTube channels.
Don't forget to check out our individual channels. We share even more content, insights, and a behind-the-scenes look at our lives. Thanks for listening.